Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Balanced Vibes podcast. This is episode number 138, and I am your host, Kirsten. Today, we're going to talk about metabolism and how to boost your metabolism. I think, and I know that this is a really interesting topic for many, and there are also several misconceptions that people believe. For example, that once you have slow metabolism, there's nothing to do about it. It's just genetics and so on. It is not true. There is a lot that we can do to boost our metabolism. So we're going to get into that topic quite a bit today. But before that, I want to give you a fun little update related to regarding this podcast. And that is that I'm starting to get some help with it, which is absolutely wonderful. So somebody's going to help me with the technical part of this podcast production. Right now, I've been doing this by myself, fully, completely, 100% everything. But now somebody's going to help me with the exporting and uploading and creating the thumbnails for YouTube and all that kind of fun stuff that I could be doing, but I'm not the best at, or I'm not bad at it. I just don't enjoy it as much as I enjoy talking to you about the topics that really matter. And this brings me to my request. I would really like you to tell me what are the things that you would like me to hear talk about more. What kind of questions do you have? Because I want to make sure that this podcast really is valuable for you. I want to answer your questions. I want to know what's going on, what you need help with, what you are struggling with, and so on. Because now with this little help that I'm getting, this is going to free up a little bit more of my time. And I'm really hoping to create more of these episodes for you. So I would like to know what you need help with. And just as a reminder, what I love to talk about, what are definitely my strongest suits, and what is my livelihood. This is what I do: is I help people with nutrition, macronutrition, fat loss, resistance training, and also nervous system regulation, which is something that I have added. I wouldn't say recently, but I've been doing this for maybe about a year. And this is a really important thing for me because I have had to learn to manage my own nervous system and my own stress response. And I'm using ice baths for it. I'm using cold water exposure. And also recently I became a functional breathing coach. So breathwork, breathing exercises, and also cold water exposure are some of the topics that I'm really passionate about because I've seen the power, how they can really help somebody to get even better results. A lot of people can do everything right with their nutrition and strength training, but not getting results because they are just so stressed out. Stress is huge, you guys. So this is definitely one of the topics that is really big and really, really important for me. And I would like to talk more about if this is something that you are interested in as well. A lot of the times, the things that I talk about on this podcast, these topics come to me from, of course, conversations with my one-on-one clients. They come to me from comments that I get on Instagram or questions that I got there or DM conversations that I have there. Sometimes the inspiration comes from something that I saw at the gym, or sometimes a book that I'm reading or a podcast that I'm listening to. And these are my passions. So, and this is where I get my content. But if there's something that you would like me to talk about, I'm all ears. Please let me know. You can reach out to me everywhere you can. It can be YouTube description or Instagram, or you can even email me, whatever works best for you. Just let me know, and I'll do my best to answer your questions and cover the topics that you are interested in. But now let's move on to today's topic, and that is how to really boost your metabolism if you think that it has slowed down. A lot of people think that their metabolism is slow. And they may be right about it. Usually people come to this conclusion when they realize that they're not able to change their body weight. They're not able to lose any body weight despite doing everything right. And that everything right usually means eating less calories and oftentimes also exercising more. So what they're doing is just not working. And then they're saying, my metabolism is just slow. And they're not wrong about it. It probably is slow because if you've been listening to me for a while, you know that I talk about it quite a bit. It's very easy to slow your metabolism down if you cut your calories dramatically and also exercise too much. The body just starts fighting you and slows all the processes down. It's not only about inability to lose body weight. There are also other signs and symptoms that tell you that your metabolism is slow. And we get to that in today's episode too. But one of the things that a lot of these people think is that now that their metabolism is so slow, there's nothing to do about it anymore. And they often don't even realize that the reason why it is so slow is exactly this. They have been cutting their calories too much and training too hard, a lot of times being really stressed out, kind of exactly the same things that I just mentioned like 2 minutes ago. And they also believe that this is just genetics, that they're just something's wrong with their genetics and now they have to live with this, because the common sense says that if you just cut more calories, you get your results. But it doesn't happen this way. If your metabolism is adapted, if it's so slow, then it's just nothing is happening, and it's not about genetics. Of course, genetics plays a little bit of role in here, but it's not the majority. If you have been with your lifestyle choices slowing down the metabolism, then you can of course also speed it up and boost it, which is what we're going to talk about today. So first of all, I actually didn't even cover what is metabolism. So metabolism basically describes all the chemical processes in the body that turn the food that you consume into the energy. And this energy is then needed to run all the processes in the body. Metabolism, it's just, there's a lot of processes. It's not just what you burn through your exercise. That's actually not it. Your metabolism is like what your heart uses, what your brain uses, what all the systems in your body, your digestive system, your sweating, all these things are require energy too. So metabolism describes all that. It's not that how much I exercise. It has very little to do with that. And by the way, the amount of calories that you burn in a day, way more depends on your metabolic rate than it depends from your exercise. In other words, if you're somebody whose metabolic rate is 1,500 calories, you may still burn that when you even lie on the couch all day. And now maybe you lie on the couch and do a little bit of exercise. Now you burn maybe 1,800, but the majority came from what you burn naturally, right? Because your body goes through certain processes all day long, every day, 24/7 to keep you alive. And all that requires energy. So your metabolic rate is the rate at which your body burns energy. And generally speaking, your metabolic rate is lower. It means that you're just burning less calories. And when your metabolic rate is higher, it means that you're able to burn more calories, and you also need more calories. Like I said, metabolic rate has to do with genetics too, but it doesn't mean that you cannot change it. And it doesn't mean that you can now sit there and say, okay, there's nothing to do about my slow metabolism. There absolutely is. When I searched, I actually did a search on the internet, and I searched for how to boost your metabolism. I was just curious. I wanted to see what comes up. And the first couple of results were really interesting. So the very first one was supplements. I don't know, somehow I immediately got shown the little shopping tab, right, that you get when you search anything on the internet. And of course, I was shown like a bunch of supplements that are supposedly going to speed up your metabolic rate. And this is just, we should all see that this is just a marketing trick, because the marketers know, the supplement companies know that, of course, everybody wants to have a faster metabolism. Let's throw a bunch of supplements at them and they will buy. And unfortunately, nothing will happen. I don't believe in things like that. There are so many better things you could do with your lifestyle instead of taking supplements that probably don't work, don't do anything at all. If you want a great supplement, then eat high protein diet. This is really it. So I want to make sure that if you think that you have slow metabolism, your first course of action is not going on Amazon and buying a bunch of supplements or going to a supplement store and buy a bunch of stuff. Just save your money, buy good quality protein. This is going to be a lot better tool for you to speed up your metabolism. The second thing that came up was the best weight loss cleanse. And I'm reading this off my paper right now because this is what it really said. The best weight loss cleanse. This came up when I searched for how to boost your metabolism. Now, there's a problem here too, because in most cases, a cleanse means eliminating a lot of foods and sticking with some certain foods, which when we think about it, probably also leads to lowered energy intake. And we don't want to do that. If your metabolism is already really low and slow, and then we take out a bunch of foods and potentially bring our calories down even more, this is not going to help you. You actually have to do the opposite, which is you have to increase your increase the amount of energy that you're taking in if you want to increase your metabolic rate. And also, most juices most cleanses also mean drinking juices or other liquids and not eating solid foods, which again, this is the exact opposite what you want to do if you want to speed up your metabolism. When you only consume liquid calories that are coming from like celery juice or vegetable juice or fruit juice, and you're cleansing your body, I'm using air quotes here, then this is not the way to speed up your metabolism. And I'm not saying that there aren't cases where something like this might be helpful. There are, but we are not talking about speeding up your metabolism if you're only drinking carrot juice or celery juice 3 times a day. This is not how you speed up your metabolism at all. Okay. And then one more search result that came up when I searched for how to boost your metabolism was best foods to eat for speeding up your metabolism. And what was listed there were green tea, caffeine, and spicy foods like some peppers, etc. Now, the metabolism boosting effect that these foods and drinks may have is so minimal. Please don't ever think that when you eat spicy peppers and drink green tea, that now this is going to give you some kind of amazing metabolic boosting result. It just doesn't. These are just very minimal things. Maybe they have a little bit of an impact on your metabolism, but nothing that's even worth really mentioning, in my opinion, because there are so many bigger things that we have to do first. And all these little things that I just mentioned, take a supplement or go on a weight loss cleanse or eat some peppers and green tea. These are just like such low hanging fruits that are so easy for people to grab. Okay, cool. I'm going to buy the supplement. Okay, cool. I'm going to, eat some more spicy peppers. They seem like really doable, and but they don't produce the results that we want. So make sure that you do better things first before you go into the nitty gritty stuff that probably doesn't even matter all that much at all. So I did also another search, which was just fast metabolism. And the first result that I got was also really interesting. And that was, it was apparently it's a book or program which is called The Fast Metabolism, Pros, Cons, and What You Can Eat. Apparently there is a program out there that is designed to help you boost your metabolism. And there was an article that I found, and it said the diet's inventor so and so suggests that you can eat 3 full meals a day plus 2 snacks and lose up to 20 pounds in 28 days. The fast metabolism diet does not require you to count fat or carbs or track your calories. It does, however, require you to stick with the allowed foods on the plan and to strictly avoid other foods. To me, there are a lot of red flags here. First of all, if we're promising somebody that they can use up to 20 pounds in 28 days, I mean, this is a crazy, crazy weight loss. Sorry, it's not fat loss. You cannot lose 20 pounds of fat in 28 days. No, it's not possible. Please don't believe it. But even weight loss, this is absolutely extreme. This is a red flag for me. What is the point of losing weight so quickly? Because this is not sustainable. You guys, you have to remember and understand, even if you are able to lose 20 pounds in 28 days, it's very likely done in a really extreme manner, which it also says there are only some allowed foods that you can eat when you're on that plan, and you're supposed to strictly avoid other foods. So that's pure restriction, and it doesn't sound like to me that this is a good plan for speeding up your metabolism. It's just cutting out a bunch of stuff. You're going to lose a lot of water weight potentially, but where is the metabolism boosting effect here? Like weight loss that comes from water loss doesn't mean that you have now sped up your metabolism. It's not the same thing. So all this is just marketing. And what you actually need to do when you have slow metabolism is to increase your food. And it is important to do it in a structured manner so that you have a plan, you are strategic about it, you just don't do things randomly or jump from one diet to another one. Or it doesn't even mean, the best way, in my opinion, isn't even like increasing your calorie intake by like 500, the next day, because that's going to come with a lot of body fat. What you have to do is increase your food. If you have slow metabolism because you have been keeping your calories really, really low for a long time, if you have slow metabolism because of that reason, you have to start increasing your calories. And as scary as it sounds, it's not that scary. I have so many. I cannot tell you how many examples of people that I worked with who have done this the way that I teach them, increase their calories gradually and gotten amazing results. Some of them lose weight, some of them don't, but almost everybody's body composition changes and they get fitter and leaner and look better, which is what they wanted. And at the same time, they have increased their metabolic rate. If there's been a dieting phase or if there's been long-term chronic dieting, either way, you have to bring your calories up. Important thing, every fat loss phase has to be followed by a reverse diet, which is exactly this, increasing the calories gradually back up. So why are we even talking about this metabolic slowdown and people thinking that they may have to do something about it? Well, there are some things that they may have been experiencing. One of them is weight loss resistance. Yes, that's a lot. That's the main reason that a lot of people start thinking, oh my goodness, maybe there's something wrong. Maybe I do have slow metabolic rate, and what can I do about it? But then there are also other signs and symptoms that might be telling you that your metabolic rate has slowed down. Before we get to the other ones, I want to come back to the weight loss resistance one more time. So the reason why your body is not able to lose weight if you have very slow metabolism is that you've been giving yourself so little fuel that your body wants to hold on to everything that you have been given it, and it doesn't want to give anything away. In other words, you're not going to burn anything extra. Everything that you give it, every little ounce of food that you give it, is being put into keeping the main processes in the body happening. For example, this is why a lot of women, when they go on really low calorie diets, they lose their periods. And that was me too. You probably know this already. I didn't have my period for 10 years because that wasn't, the priority. So this was not the most important thing. There are other things in the body that needed to be taken care of. So the main resources go into just keeping you alive, keep your heart pumping, and keep the digestive system working and all that kind of stuff. But giving you your period or letting go of body fat, they are not on top of that list, and that's why it's just not happening. Your body prioritizes, and I like to use the bank account analogy here too. When you have just very little money in your bank account, then you don't book an expensive vacation somewhere. You just can't do it because you want to make sure that you get your rent paid and your internet and things like that, the most important things for you, right? You're not planning a really expensive vacation. And then when you put some money back into your account, you're coming out of that debt, then now you can start spending on other things. Oh, I can go to that vacation. I can do this and that, right? Because now I get to. It's the same thing, your metabolism too. Once you start feeding yourself a little bit better, then things get better. And also your body will start letting go of body fat because it's not so tightly holding on to it. It has more resources, right? I hope it makes sense. Now, what are some of the other signs that tell you that your metabolic rate might be too low, metabolism is too slow? Chronic exhaustion is one of them. You're not getting enough nutrition. And honestly, the following points that I'm going to bring you, they all come down to your body not having enough resources. And that's why your metabolic rate is low. So chronic exhaustion, your energy levels are low. If you're not fueling yourself, I think it makes perfect sense. Now, one interesting sign that your metabolism is slow is that you may have very low appetite. And it's interesting because I feel like in our society, it's so common to kind of glorify this, like, oh, I don't feel hunger, or it can be like, hunger is bad. Don't ever be, if you feel hunger, something's wrong. No, nothing is wrong. You actually have to have normal hunger signals. However, now somebody with a very low metabolism doesn't have much hunger signals at all. And I remember specifically right now, 2 of my clients who have been telling me exactly this. Both of them were eating about 1,000 calories a day, and they were not actually starving. They were not feeling like they're hungry all the time. Their bodies were just so slow that there was no hunger signal really. And now with the metabolism boosting activities that we've been doing, strength training, and actually starting to eat more regularly, the hunger signals are coming back. So this is one of the things that people with low metabolism experience. However, at the same time, they may have very strong cravings. They just appear out of the blue and they're so strong and so irresistible. It's almost like you cannot do anything about it. So you may have very low hunger, but you may have intense cravings. One more sign that tells you that you have slow metabolism is that you are cold all the time. I think this is so common. I hear from very many women that when they start eating more, when they go through this process that I teach them, gradually increasing calories, then after they have increased like 300, 400, 500 calories, and they have not a lot of times even gained any weight, they tell me that they're so much warmer now. And that is because the metabolic rate is higher. So if you are always cold, then it can be a sign of slow metabolism. Weak immune system is the next one. You're getting sick very often because, again, your body does not have resources to keep you healthy and keep you vital and keep your immune system really working well. You may get period problems. You may have no period or have really bad irregularities. Some bodies, unfortunately, are more sensitive to that than others, and that's me too. Even a little bit more stress can throw this off pretty easily, and others are super resilient. Like for a lot of people, not a lot, but many women, this is not an issue. They can eat, 1,200 calories and still have a period. This is not to say that this is okay to eat 1,200 calories just because you didn't lose your period. Now it's okay. It's just to show that this is something that varies a lot. Some people get symptoms with their period symptoms really quickly, even if they do a little bit of deficit, and then others can go deep into deficit and not get any issues. So super individual, however, pretty common that to get period irregularities. And also one thing that may come up if you have a very slow metabolism is that your skin and your hair don't look too good. And these also start getting better once you start increasing your calories, increasing your metabolic rate. And lastly, you may find that you have a hard time focusing. And that's because your brain needs fuel too. A lot of times we don't think about it. We think that, oh, our energy expenditure is just workouts. No, it's not. Your brain needs a lot of fuel too. And if you're not giving it enough fuel, your system may simply not have enough to keep your brain happy and you productive and focused. It's just not happening. So next, let's talk about what caused your metabolism to slow down to the point where you are right now, where you are experiencing all this. So if you said yes to a lot of these previous examples, yes, I am cold. Yes, I have weight loss resistance. Yes, I have issues with my period. Yes, my hair is terrible and my nails are breaking. My immune system is weak. You don't have to have all of them, but you may have some of them. Like I said, there's individual variants. So what are the reasons? Why is this happening? Well, there are a couple of things that do that. And number one is definitely calorie deficit. Too large and too long deficit will absolutely do that. Now, when we do a slight deficit, most people are fine. When you do like moderate, reasonable deficit, if somebody has a fat loss goal, totally fine. But if we go crazy with it, if we cut drastically, then this is where we start running into problems and we slow down our metabolic rate. So by eating 1,200 calories, you create a metabolism that burns 1,200 calories, right? So it's just how it works. It's like you're taking resources away from your body. Now, the length of the deficit is also very important. There are many people who have been in a deficit for 6 months or 8 months or 9 months or a year or a couple of years, and they have also run into weight loss resistance. That's because the deficit was just too long. Now, in a healthy fat loss cycle, you do a deficit for 12 weeks maximum, right? And then you bring the calories back up. Doesn't mean that you're going to lose your gains. No, if you do it strategically the way it teach you, then you will maintain your results. And now you're going to eat more while still getting the results that you wanted to get. So too deep deficit and too long deficit will absolutely slow down your metabolism dramatically. And the longer you keep yourself there, the harder it's going to be to come out of it. The next thing that's causing the metabolism slow down is doing too much and too much wrong kind of exercise, which puts you even in the bigger calorie deficit. So let's say that you already have decreased your calories and now you really start doing a lot more exercise than you did previously, then that will also slow down your metabolism. The next thing is skipping meals and fasting for too long. Unfortunately, super popular thing to do. Fasting is something that everybody thinks that you should be doing. And there are definite benefits to fasting, but fasting is not a good fat loss and weight loss method at all. Don't do it for that purpose. There are other reasons. However, if you're skipping meals constantly, you wait too long between your meals, that can also be the reason why your metabolism has slowed down. The next reason is not enough rest and recovery time. When you are under stress and you're not getting enough time to wind down or recover between your workouts and you're not sleeping enough, then the body becomes unable to perform its normal functions. So the functions that I mentioned before, they start to suffer. And of course, the weight loss resistance comes too, because like I said, this is not your priority. This is not your body's main priority. So you have to make sure that you rest and recover enough between your workouts and get good sleep, do the best you can. And lastly, being on high alert all the time. That actually goes in the same under the same umbrella of being not getting enough rest and not recovering enough, because when you are on high alert all the time, your stress hormones are running high and you're feeling anxious and jittery, and that's going to impact your sleep and your ability to rest. I know this really well because, like I mentioned in the previous episode too, my first sign of overreaching is that I start losing my sleep and I feel just more stressed out, which then makes me lose my sleep. So that's how it works. So now, how can you boost your metabolism? Is finally getting to the main point. So what can we do? Maybe you totally recognize yourself in all these points and you said, yes, this is me. I have been cutting my calories. I have been getting all the symptoms. Now, can we get to the point? Please tell me, what can I do? The first thing is that you probably have to start eating more. And I'm going to give you a couple of really practical steps here, how you can understand, how you can make sure if this is the right thing for you to do. I can tell with almost 100% certainty right now that if you have been nodding your head while you've been listening to this or watching this, and yes, this is me, this is me, this is me, then I'm almost 100% sure that you have to increase your calories. But to make sure that this is exactly what you want to do, or what you should be doing, here are some practical steps for you. So first of all, track your calories for a couple of days and see where you are at. So use MyFitnessPal, or you can use also other tracking apps if you like them. I use this in my work all the time, and just put everything in that you're eating. Don't forget everything, log absolutely everything that you're eating and see how many calories are you consuming, and do it for 5 days, at least 5 days to a week, and see what's going on. If you are already tracking it, then of course, you already have this data. But if you don't, track and see where you are at. Then next thing that you can do is to go and figure out your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate. Remember, I mentioned this briefly in the beginning of this episode. This is the estimated number of calories that you need to just be there in the day when you don't exercise, right? Let's say that you lie down on the couch all day, you still need a lot of calories, and this is your basal metabolic rate. Now, you can go and calculate that at bmicalculator.net, bmi-calculator.net, and there choose BMR calculator. Go there, put in all the information they ask you. There's only a couple of things they ask you: your age and weight and height, and your sex too, I believe. And you just put it in and see what is your basal metabolic rate, and then go and compare this with the number of calories that you eat in a day. If your metabolic rate is 1,300, but you're eating 1,200 calories, then we clearly have a problem. Yes, you have a slowed down metabolism. If you've been doing this for a while, that's absolutely true. Even if it's equal to your BMR is 1,500, this is what you're eating right now, you should not be eating this little. You should be eating more. So go ahead and figure this out. Super simple. And you have the answer in a matter of seconds, really. To get even more accurate results, you can also go ahead and get my Lean Ladies Calorie and Protein Guide. And there you can calculate your calorie needs based on your level of activity. So I make it very easy for you to understand step by step. And I want you to figure this out, because it may be very well that you are just eating at your BMR or barely over your BMR, but this may still not be enough for you at all, especially, it likely isn't enough. Let's be honest here. It's not enough for you, especially if you have been eating this way for a long time. Let's say that your BMR is 1,500 and now you're barely eating 1,700 while doing 6 intense workouts a week. Absolutely not enough. And if you've been doing this for a while, definitely your symptoms are telling you that you have a slow metabolism. Okay. So what do you do then? If you notice that you have been eating less than what you actually need, then you're going to increase your calories gradually. This is the super, super hairy, scary, terrible thing, right? The worst news, you might be thinking, but it's not. If you do it gradually, not all at once, let's say that you figure out, oh, I should be eating 2,300. I'm now eating 1,500. Don't start eating 2,300 tomorrow, because that will put quite a bit of body fat on your body. do it gradually. Increase little by little by little. That will give your body the opportunity to catch up. And if you do it gradually like this, your body will respond really, really well. You will not gain a ton of body fat overnight. You're going to feel a lot better. So all these things that I mentioned, the cold tolerance, that will get better. Your focus will get better. Your period problems go away, or at least your periods will get a lot better. Your immune system gets better. Nails and hair gets better. And also your body starts responding to your efforts. The things that you do at the gym right now, it probably isn't doing anything. It's not responding the way you want it to respond. So now when you start increasing your calories, you start seeing amazing results. I see this all the time. People's bodies are transforming. They're looking so much better, so much more like vital and healthy. It's totally worth it. So try to let go of that fear and just do it. And if you need help, definitely reach out. I work with people with that problem every single day, and I would like to hear from you. So let me know if you have this problem, if you need some help with that. I'm so happy to help you with that. How else you can boost your metabolism? Start sleeping and resting more. This will bring down your general stress levels. Do your best. I mean, if you don't have a good sleep routine yet, then that's of course number one step to work on. Put your electronics down and the lights out, that make your bedroom really dark. You probably know the common steps already. Are you doing all of these things, or are you still watching TV at 10 p.m. and then you're in bed at 10:15? You have to get better at this. However, I know that there are a lot of people, and that was me too, who did all these things, but sleep was still not so good. It could have been a lot better. So what personally has helped me a lot is the cold exposure. So I really encourage people to try that for better sleep. Reading a physical book, actual paper book, before going to bed, right? Not electronics. I don't do Kindle. And also changing your mindset. A lot of it is also just thinking better thoughts. If we have all the time the catastrophizing thoughts, I'm so bad, I'm not good enough, nobody likes me, oh my God, there's a problem here, a problem there. You have to choose your thoughts. You just have to choose better thoughts. Bring yourself back to moments that you really enjoyed, so that you can feel the gratitude and love and all the good feelings. They will calm you down. I know that this is nothing that people think about. People always like to think about the physical, but it's not always the physical, right? So thinking better thoughts, putting yourself into that calm and rest mode, that will help you before bed as well. There are some breathing exercises, which I should probably do a separate episode on, that will help you to calm your body down and get you nice sleep as well. And also, I personally really love the Ned product that I sometimes use. So these are drops. This is a full spectrum hemp oil that I use from a company called Ned. I'm actually going to put the link in the notes, so you can get a 15%, I believe, discount too. Absolutely wonderful product. I really, really love it and recommend it. It's not habit forming. It really helps you to get more restful sleep. So these are the things. And also start lifting weights, of course. Build muscle, because increased muscle mass will improve your metabolic rate as well. Muscle is an expensive tissue. You may have heard people say that. What does it mean? It requires more energy. So now when you put on more muscle, you get to eat more, and the body won't change. You won't gain a ton of body weight, unless of course your calories are in like huge excess, then yes. But generally speaking, putting on muscle absolutely will help you to increase your metabolic rate. And coming back to diet for one more time, eat protein to support all this muscle building and support your body. Of course, overall calories are important, but protein is important for muscle building. Also, carbohydrates are important for muscle building. A lot of people only talk about protein. Carbs also matter if you want to put on that good-looking muscle and increase your metabolic rate. So now finally, let's talk about how do you know that you are getting better, that your metabolic rate is increasing and you're getting healthier. Well, first of all, your body starts responding to your efforts at the gym. You likely notice that you're going to have more muscle definition, you look stronger, you look better, and also your lifts are getting stronger. Maybe you're going to hit a couple of nice new PRs. This is awesome. And it all makes sense because now you just have more food in your body. given that you did the thing that I told you, which was starting to increase your calorie intake gradually. I see it all the time. We increase a little bit of calories, and people are start lifting heavier, strength comes up, and of course that also means that we're going to put on more muscle. So that's absolutely wonderful. The second thing, you're feeling warmer. Definitely body temperature normalizes. You're not cold all the time. You don't need 3 sweaters all the time. Next thing, you're going to have much more energy. And this is really awesome. This feels really good. You actually can do the things that you want to do. You don't need to lie down all the time. You feel more rested. Your periods are better. Your skin gets better. Now, when it comes to hair, if you have experienced hair loss, then this is one of the things that tends to come back later than anything else, because just the way natural hair growth cycles are. But your nails will start getting better sooner. Your hunger comes back to normal. So you may find that, okay, I actually want to eat breakfast. And this is a good thing, you guys. This is a good thing. I probably said you guys so many times in this podcast already, but this is a great thing. And you want to eat lunch and you want to eat dinner, and it's all normal. You don't have to fight it. You don't have to resist it. You don't have to say, oh, this is a bad thing. I shouldn't be wanting to eat. Yeah, you should. Hunger is normal, and hunger is great, especially when you increase your workouts. You're going to feel hungrier, and that tells you that your metabolic rate is coming up. And also your cravings will be less. You will get less of those out of the blue, absolutely crazy cravings that you don't, it seems like there's nothing to do about them. You can have less of them because you have better blood sugar balance, because you're eating more regularly and you are eating high protein. Then these things will absolutely help you too. So this is all. I hope that this episode was helpful for you, and that you are getting started with increasing your metabolic rate. If you think that it might be too slow, I hope that I made it clear what are the signs to look for, and that you are starting to make progress with all that. Like I mentioned earlier too, I really welcome all the ideas that you have, the topics that you would like me to cover. I love to hear from that, because otherwise I'm just telling you what I think you might need, but it's always best when I know exactly what you need. So if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to leave it a 5-star review. I really appreciate it. And if you watch it on YouTube, please subscribe and also share with your friends and family and everybody who you think might benefit from it. When you subscribe, then you will also not miss an episode ever. So that's definitely a good thing. Okay, I think this is it from me today. Please let me know how I can help you, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.